It's the Sod Pod, brought to you by Grassland Agro. The Sod Pod. Hello, and welcome to the Sod Pod. This is episode 21. John O'Loughlin loaded up the car. He piled in Edward Healy from the product and technical team, and he also picked up William Keane. He's one of our regional managers for the East region, and they headed up to Kiltegan in County Wicklow. They headed up to the farm at Kyle and Emma Hanbidge, and they had a great chat with Kyle about many topics and how he's getting on with his own farm. Have a listen.
Kyle, how's the farm?
Good, John.
We're joining you here now with Will and Ed from the calf shed.
Yeah.
And there's a few calves in it, which isn't the norm for dairy farms in Ireland.
It's fairly common up here in West Wicklow, so it is. I know, like, a little sort of a winter milk will be big enough in Kiltegan and West Wicklow in general. Like, we send a lot of milk. There's an awful lot of farmers here sending milk, and maybe we're mad. According to the current figures, we probably are mad, but sure, there's no point being mad in that, Jonah, eh?
Yeah, so we're just outside Kiltegan on the farm of the Hanbidge. It's a family farm.
Family farm,
Three generations.
Third generation now, yeah.
Old Tom.
Old Tom, fourth Tom, young generation, young Tom coming on. If he's going to farm or not now will be another question, but sure, he's only 10 months now, going on 11 months. Third generation, yeah, sure, it's great. And
always were winter milk.
Yeah, my grandfather started it in 1947, and he sent it to the Hughes brothers, and then that went on to be Premier Dairies, which then Glanbia, and sure now what Tyrone. So my father then took it on in the 80s, and there was cows, sheep and beef, and then Dad did great work here, and also my mother, can't not mention her. She was sure. It was great. Mam's a nurse, and so she'd be big on calf health. So it's actually easier to have the calves running healthy than coming in the evenings and not having them healthy and getting the questions then what's wrong with this. But no, only for the two of them now. They kept the whole show going when I was in college, and went off to Australia for a few years and came home.
So tell us about that. What was your journey into full-time farming? Because you went and saw about two.
So finished up secondary school in 06, went to college in England then to study sports science, and
how did that go?
Sure, I went.
That was good crack, was it?
Great experience. Yeah. Important to get away from home for a while, but then went to Australia in 2012 and came home then 2014. But in Australia in 2012, it was great.
Farming mainly, or sites?
Bit of construction sites. Then end up going sheep farming, 10,000 sheep, fattening livestock, feedlot.
That's a ferocious experience altogether.
What was that?
Interesting at the very
That's probably the most enjoyable experience you've ever had in your life, you say, was it?
Willie Keane was only mad to come out with the sheep farming back then.
That's only a small farm now compared to Willie Keane's. So
that's where Willie Keane's going on the honeymoon.
Yeah. Chloe would be delighted to know she's gone over lambing 10,000 ewes.
There's no
were they just finishing?
So it was a 10,000 lamb feedlot. So he was bringing in about 700 or 800 lambs a week, and we were pulling out 700 or 800 then going to the factory. And then the thing that really said that we weren't hanging around that farm was we were out on the hay plains, which is if any of you know, it's like in the middle of nowhere in Australia, and we were staying in a shearing quarters, which was sort of very out in the back arse of nowhere.
I say you've seen worse changing rooms in your rugby career now around the country.
A lot worse. In fairness, they got burnt down, I think, 6 or 8 weeks before we arrived, so we got brand new sheep quarters, which was great.
Not too bad, so.
No, but man said he wanted us to put up a fence around that, and we hit the trip on the Jeep, and it was 34 or 35k of a fence he wanted to put it up. So as soon as Emma and I got back,
Here back to Kilkenny.
So as soon as Emma and I got back from got back into that, you could pick up mobile signal on your phone. We got back on, and we found a spot that we went to a dairy farm then after that. And that was 11 or 1200 cow herd.
Big operation, is that?
Yeah, but great experience to see it. And it wasn't your typical herd, like it was a high yielding Holstein herd.
Yeah.
So very interesting. And you started at 2 o'clock in the morning, and you were milking finished by 5:30 that morning, and then you started at 2 o'clock, 1:30, 2 o'clock in the evening. You were finished by 4:30. But
Just twice a day milking.
Twice a day milking, yeah. And they were eating 10 ton of maize most days. But like you had 12 or 1300 cows, like, so it was different experience. Great experience.
Yeah.
And
you'd probably take something from each of those places you visited, like, you know, to bring home here, I suppose, like, you know.
That's why there's no sheep around here.
Philip says it took me to go to Australia to get rid of the sheep. If I'd known that, I would have gone a lot sooner. So I would have. And look, we did our 88 days regional work, and Emma had enough farming done by then, so she packed her bags and back to Sydney, and I actually went off and did 3 weeks combining down near Swan Hill, and with a group of 14 of us working day shifts, night shifts, and end up sharing a room with Willie Cass, Sean's younger brother. So that was an experience. Now for anyone that knows him, they'll understand. But no, we got to drive combines out there for a great crack. A lad up in Mullingar got in contact with him, and we met him actually over a bonfire in Fraser Island one night, and the two boys saw what he's doing for the region work. They want to come combine with us, and it was great crack. So then back to Sydney and concreted for a few more months, and back home then to kick on the farm and dream then.
You mentioned there you went to college and did sports science. Was it always the plan to come back and farm then, or was or aspirations of doing different things? Or what way?
Sure, I thought I was going to make it big at the rugby.
Right.
Tullow was big bright lights for me, and it did wonders. I played the Sydney Irish when I was over in Sydney too. That was a club that were getting up off the ground, and won silverware there. Came home, was lucky to be on the first team ever to win the Towns Cup in Tullow in 17. So, and huge achievement for the club. Still celebrating. We didn't do enough for John, to be honest, so we didn't. And sure, no, I was doing physio for the local club here in Kiltegan and that. And look, the love was always going to be dairy farming. So it was just to kick on and expand from there. So look, I remember coming home that first evening. I think we ended up stopping in a hardware in Barton-Glass and there was a Queen's had their winter sale on, and Philip arrived home and he nearly took the passport and got a brand new pair of boots on the way home. So we knew destiny was wrote really at that stage. But no, like I said, I was very lucky to have Jane and Philip here on the farm, and also my granny lived in the Ardways, and she'd be keeping an eye on us all, wondering what the story was. So keeping us stocked with apple tart. John knows all about the apple tart from last year. So he does.
So about 11 months ago to the day nearly, Tom was coming up on 11 months, because it was in around the day or day. It was the day after. It was the 29th
you arrived up. Yeah, Tom was born in the morning of the 28th.
Yeah.
And John Marr said, she'll never get home that early, you'll be alright.
Talk about a man under pressure now.
John or me?
Well, John Marr was always stressed out, but he put you under some pressure that day. So you did very well in the grass 10 competition.
Yeah. Look, I didn't think that I'd get anywhere close to where I did. And sure, it's like going to a final. If you don't come first, you're last. But the lads that won it were exceptional farmers, and there's stuff that I need to improve on, and every year I'm trying to improve on it. So might throw the hat into the ring at another stage.
How did you decide to get involved in the grass 10? I suppose, what was your decision process there?
Look, very good Chagas advisor locally, Paul Keogh. But Paul is very good at grass, but he said try John Douglas. So I rang John Douglas and he put me in the grass 10 group, and John was very good, and he'd talk to you an awful lot and advise you on other things. So we used to meet on a lad's farm once a month or once every 6 weeks, and John would go through stuff and started taking stuff home, and then started listening to the Sod Pod and the Dairy Edge and all that crack. When you'd be milking, it was long enough. So look, took bits of messages home every day from it.
About Clare hurling.
The small ball. Oh, holy God.
I tried to teach him at Wicklow hurling over the years. I was slow to take it up though.
There's not a whole lot happening in Wicklow hurling either, so there's not. Yeah. But no, John Douglas got us going on it, and look, he came out and looked at the farm a couple of times, and so did Paul Keogh. And then I just seen the advert one day, and I said, what do you reckon of that? And he said, she'll throw the hat in, as the worst you'll say is no. And little did I know John Marr was ringing me the week that Tom was due, saying I'll be up now any day to see us. And sure, an army of them arrived looking for the tart and scones and everything. Jane had it well prepared, so she did.
Oh no, it was lovely, and it is a real family farm here. And when I came, I suppose, in something that resonated with me is the fact that you are winter milk, as we alluded to.
Yep.
You have Montbellier cows, which we'll discuss in a bit more detail in a minute. But you're still doing grass. You know, most winter milk herds and are kind of more similar to a confinement system, maybe like in the north. Where the cows are let out just
to see grass.
Yeah, just for that.
Yeah, no. Look, I try build the covers for to let them out in the spring if I can. But because I've winter milk cows, if you have a high cover going out, I've no problem getting through the grass because they have a big appetite on them. Yeah. Sometimes it's a bigger job to slow them down than to speed them up.
Numbers too, I suppose, as well.
Numbers too. You have a big Montbellier cow going out with savage appetite there, and you just have to try watch. And then they're not massive. They're not tanks either, like some other breeds. I'm not sure if we're allowed.
Like Fleckies.
Yeah. But look, we're very happy with the cows.
To the Fleckery,
No, look,
society. But
we started breeding Montbelliers we had a Holstein, or like a Frisian Holstein herd back in the late 90s, early 2000s, and we bought a Montbellier bull off the cousins up the road, Linda and Alan and Gordon, and that started, like we were saying, you were only buying someone else's problems when you were buying heifers in, so we said we might as well start breeding them. And look, I've bought bulls off them, I've bought bulls off Anne and John Fitzgerald down in Wexford, and we'd be very happy with them. Look, they're doing, I'm in the high bracket. I'm just under 7,000 litres. Did 528 kilos of solids last year on just over a ton for the spring calvers, and the winter calvers were 1.2, 1.3, 1.4 ton.
Still,
but
like national average, as we were saying, is 1.3 ton of meal fed. Like, and you are in a part of the country where it's likely to get a little bit drought.
Yeah, and I don't own all my land isn't in the one block.
Yes.
So I in the shoulders, or if there's a drought, I get a lad to drop 0 grazing grass into me, and that's very good, like in the shoulders when you need it, or during the drought. And he's actually very reasonable. Like, you could tell him, is there any chance you'd have it in before milking this evening, and 9 times out of 10 he has it there in the yard when you want it. And
that's very important though, isn't it? Is a contractor it's nearly part of the team. We need to think about it,
Yeah, well, this year especially, just a house going on with Tom and just trying to get a work-life balance better. So I actually got lads in to spread the fertiliser. All the bulk slurry spreading in the spring will be done with the pipe here is contracted, and then the bulk spreading for the silage ground was done. But this year I just struggled to get through the work, so I said, here, what's the point of it? You'll end up not hitting your targets with your grass, and when you have a big demand, you need, like, I'd be stocked at 3.6 to 3.8, so you need your grass hopping over. So
you have big demand, and when we walked your farm, we went out the passage. There was a lot of reseeding done, and we went over into a bit of reasonably new ground, and you had an awful lot of clover, serious standing clover. Yeah. So I've worked hard over the last 6 or 8 years. I usually reseed 15 to 20% of the farm over the last few years, and then this year and last year we oversowed clover with questionable root, but we were happy with but if your P's and K's and your pH isn't right, there's no point going with your clover, like, and also with nitrogen, because you're not going to get the full bang for your buck over. We actually put a scoop of clover down the spout with a tanker. No, go on.
So, look, the jury's out. It did work in some fields.
Yeah.
The fields it didn't work in is probably lacking a bit in lime or P's and K's. Yep. But if you have a field that's freshly reseeded over the last few years and you just want to bump it up, if they got a hit maybe with a spraying or something like that, and you just want to bump it up, it does work.
Yeah.
But then you want to make sure, how are you saying, chlorophyll, isn't that a great fertiliser?
Yeah, exactly,
the sunlight. So if you don't graze it out, you're not going to get your residual, you won't get your clover coming back.
100%. And it's as much about closing up in the back end with the right covers as it is about opening up in the springtime with the right covers. Like, clover doesn't like carrying big covers over the winter.
No, and I do sometimes struggle with that, because you'd have you could have a lot of stock hitting and then if it gets wet, you're trying to do on-off graze and you're trying to get access points, you're trying to watch it all, and it's very hard to juggle all the balls in the air and get them all right.
One of the things that I suppose one of the things people would give out about in relation to clover, that it has poor spring growth and you have a big demand in springtime. Is it too early days to see if that's affecting you yet, or do you find any challenge with that now yet?
Look, there mightn't have been a savage crop of grass on it compared to what should be on it, but we're happy with it. Like, I haven't done enough of it, so you know what I mean. So like, I'm not in it long. Like, their clover's coming strong. Like, there's paddocks there that the milkman is even able to tell you when, because the cows come up with the solids and with the litres. He's able to tell you when you're hitting fresh ground.
But that's nearly the biggest thing with the clover, apart from all the environmental stuff, is that you're giving the cows better feed. Which is the number one priority.
Look, you want to be careful with it, just with your breakfast breaks or whatever way you're going to manage it.
Have you had bloat yet?
We had one case this year.
Did you catch her?
No, it was too late. So, but it was questionable too if it was bloat or not, because the paddock she was in mightn't have. Do you know what I mean? But we do manage it. They're going in and out by the headrail every milking, so there's straw left out for them to get but we're also only doing 12-hour blocks. 12-hour blocks in our discussion group did question, are we punishing the cows on 12-hour blocks, that if you had a better milk, like they'd milk better off it. But look, it works for myself and Philip, and what works in our yard mightn't work in your yard, but we're happy.
Look, in the end of the day, it's about finding a system that works for you, and what works for you mightn't work up the road.
Exactly, mightn't work anywhere. So, and maybe we're mad. Like I said, we are mad. There's no point mad not showing it.
And I take it that you're, like, when you're talking managing clover, that you're managing the fertiliser going on to it then as well.
Yeah. It was funny you say that, Willie. I remember you coming into the Arrow 10 years ago and trying
10
to
years ago, was it?
Nah, well, sure, I'm home. Yeah, well, no, 8 years ago. I'm home 9 years, so I'll let you away with a year then. Get a bit crazy.
I think you still had the tan when I came into the yard from Australia.
Yeah, and the budgie smugglers and all that. But no, I remember you was trying to sell Top Frost to myself and Philip, and we shook our heads. But look,
I was persistent.
You were persistent, I'll give you that. That's what she says as well.
This is the most redeeming quality.
Best of luck with the wedding next year, Willie. I hope you're putting that wages away every week for the big day.
This is a family program now,
right? That's the price of lambs in the factory at the minute, no?
Yeah. You'll be alright. Yeah, but John, you are right. I got married twice during COVID and then the party after it. But look, she's still Emma's still with me, thank God. Keeps the ship steady. But yeah, look, you tried selling Top Frost to me 8 to 10 years ago, and I remember shaking my head, what's this all about? But so I'd be listening to local farmers, and you deal with a good few around here. You built up a good relationship with a lot of them, and a friend of mine recommended, and then my same friends, like they were advising me like the whole way through, and like that's important too. If you're in a discussion group where you know friends that are farming, listen to them. Like, it mightn't be all right, but try implement some of it in your farm every day. But so Top Frost, your top forward loading pea, isn't that it, Willie?
Yeah, basically, like, you know, like we're looking to try to front load the pea there. I suppose part of the world that we're in here, like, you know, be naturally pea fixing soils, and we're just trying to get that available pea out early in order to get tiller and root development, and then we're drip feeding it then later in the year. And I suppose, look, with the fertiliser register in now and nitrates and that getting tighter, like, you know, we're going to have to be conscious about what form of pea we're spreading and when we're spreading it as well, like, and where we're spreading it.
Yeah, the 4 R's, right product, right place, right time, right rate, like is more important now than ever. But Kyle, I suppose grass is very important. Now it's evolved to grass clover. You're not going wild on the meal, which is, you know, really, really good to get that production.
Yeah.
You also have some other forages in the yard as well.
Yeah, so we grow maize, and then we actually reseeded a field this year, and we oversowed it with barley and oats. It was nearly what was ever left in the yard, to be honest, because we were sowing it late because it had to be drained. So by the time we got to cut, so we pitted that, and we also bought 10 acres of rye off a local contractor, and we're very happy with it. So
I suppose that's the benefit of the area you're in too. Like, you know, there is a nice bit of tillage and that around, like you do have the availability to potentially do
you're getting close to the edge of it really to be getting your deals done, but like there's an awful lot of lads there and they're willing to talk. Like if you like dairy farming, maybe it's just that could be the way forward, like with the whole derogation thing. Like maybe just try lock in a lad that you could get a crop of stuff off and make a deal with him. So
you're highly stocked and you're in the band, the third band.
Yeah, I'm 235 or 239.
You're
yeah
239 of organic nitrogen.
Yeah.
So you're in the 220 area.
Yeah. It's not. Yeah, we are banging
are
it.
You?
Yeah. So there's no avoiding it. I was at a meeting yesterday, and it's very uncertain times. Like we were told to.
How do you feel about that now as a farmer? Like it's
frustrating. Because like came home 8 years ago, did a lot of work in the yard here to get the floor put under us, to expand the cows. Like sure, we started with a 6 unit parlour that my grandfather and my father put in, and then we took that out and we put in the 10. We left it big enough for 14, and this year we've had to go to 20, like, and just cow numbers kept growing. Land became available beside the ground, but we also got rid of the sheep and the beef to free up the out farms, and that grows grass for us as well, and you can bring it back in the shoulders when you need it. But like we've been pushed to do it. So I said it last year to you, John, that like we were told to. I approached it rather than getting the cows and trying to figure out how to grow grass. I grew the grass, and once I knew what I could grow, I stocked it. So now what did I grow? I grew 168 chemical last year with 100. I think it was 15 or 15 and a half ton.
Yeah, it's a fair one.
This year I've gone with a shake bit more fertilizer because I'm heavier stocked. Like I think it's only an extra 10 kilos, but at the minute I'm 15.2 or 15.3. And we bought the dribble bar last year, and it was saved last year with the price of fertilizer. Half the price of the dribble bar was paid with last year with the fertilizer that was saved. But like it's very uncertain times because we were told to expand, we were told to keep pushing out. Now we've expanded, we've the extra cows. The extra cows that we're keeping is probably paying my wage being here, but paying my mortgage on the house. Young family coming on, like it's just very uncertain. Like there's cows and calf there. If we knew that this was coming, we all had an idea, but we were all told it was going to stay away. Like there's cows and calf there, and like what are you supposed to do with them? Like, and the market's flooded with stock.
So is it a half road, a parlour, or how many cows do you know, or have you looked at?
I'd probably just cut down my young stock, to be honest, and keep the bare minimum young stock.
But that's something that you've had a plan in place for as well, because the Mount Belliard is producing the solids, but it's also producing.
Yeah, I've a good demand for calves. Like we haven't had to go to the mart with any of our calves over the last few years because we've a sort of a deal done with a couple of local lads, and we keep the calves till they're 6 weeks old and let them off just before you move them. Or there's some lads that we've actually kept them till they're weaned, test them, and then they're gone.
Well, that's great. Like it's great that you're able to do that. Give the flexibility to a farmer who potentially mightn't have the shed space or that in the spring of the year, like, you know, to take in your blue calves or that, or your Mount Belliard bull calves there, like, you know.
And like this is a purpose converted shed now. John seen it last year, and it's in what was it was starting. Like it took a while, but it works out great. The JFC feeder's a great job. Can't fault it. Only time it's bad is our own problem if there's no powder put into her. But that's personal problems. But yeah, look, it works out good because like this year we only AI'd for dairy, like with the Monties or Frisian, because we have a couple of Frisians in it. Had 1/3 black and white because when we expanded we couldn't get red and whites. So that's why. But the Monties, anything that wasn't in the top bracket, like for the top percentage cows, anything that's got like the bottom 25% got dairy, got beef, the DBI or the CVB, and we AI for about a month to 6 weeks, but after a month we let in the beef bulls, 2 Aubracs. And
just talking about, you were just going to say there, the Aubracs, and then you've selected a new blue bull there this year as well.
The blue bull to try, hopefully throw red blues, so the 4438, and there's another one, I think it's 8019 or that out of it. But look, that's what we'd be hoping to get.
And looking for your red roan heifers out there.
Red roan heifers, and getting
dollar signs start flashing up then when the suckler man walks into the yard. €500 a calf.
Well, look, there's probably more and more lads trying to look at a system like that now going forward. I know Matt Thompson there that was working with us was on the Sod Pod a couple of weeks ago there, and he is he's trying to work a fairly similar system for buying calves in the springtime, you know. So
yeah, and Matt deals with me here too. Since Willie's progressed, Matt's moved in, and we're very happy with Matt. And the lads, I'm not just saying it because you're in the yard, but you're a very good client. You don't push stuff, you recommend stuff, you have this fertiliser plan there. And that's a great help, to just because you're there scratching your head, what should I be going with? Whereas if you have a chart there to start to aim off, and the vest test. But yeah, look, what Matt's doing there is great too, that he sort of has locked in a contract as such with a couple of farmers. But as dairy farmers, we have the responsibility too to try cut down this climate change, because if we don't pick the right beef bulls, you're going to you want to try reduce the age of slaughter. So the dairy cows was given the calf, even though lads don't want the dairy calf in them. But sure, how are you going to get a calf? So
yeah,
if that makes sense.
So it is. So basically, you're doing everything you possibly can, to be fair, but it's still a big worry and concern about the 220. And I think a lot of farmers would agree with you as well, or are in the same boat. Maybe Kyle, did that come across at the meeting the last days? Or? Yeah. I know an awful lot of people that's going to get stung with them, and there's family, people have given up jobs to come home to work a family business. Yeah. And now that they're at home, given all the time to build up the farm, now they're saying that they won't have the income and they have to go back to work. And but there's an awful lot of money borrowed in this country to expand dairy farming. And it's happening in everyone's yard, and now the rug's been pulled out from under us. But are we supposed to go and build your extra slurry storage, but in 2 years' time when the review is done, we've all this money invested, I've invested in a parlour there this year. It had to be done. But if you invest in any more sheds or slurry storage, sure, what's the point of having a haul in 2 years' time? They're going to come and say you have to go back down to 170, and we'll all have any amount of slurry storage. The biggest problem we're going to have then is we're going to have too many stock that's going to flood the beef market. As you know what's going to happen to the price then.
It's very, very difficult. What's probably needed is some sort of a roadmap over a period of time, so lads can plan. That's really the whole thing, because
the big question is the lads that's making these plans, do they know what the roadmap will be?
Yeah, so. I don't think it's very obvious, but I suppose we can only control the controllables at farm level.
Yeah, in our own yard. Yeah,
better use of slurry, fertiliser, and obviously investing in technology like the dribble bar is a very big help. But I suppose one thing, and it has been a challenge that, and I'm nearly nervous to say this, but every year we see maybe, and you see it on the road, and I don't know any of them personally, but people spreading the story when maybe they shouldn't, and it's just, we're shooting ourselves in the foot. Nearly has to become drink driving, socially unacceptable, because it's so important now, isn't it? It's all water quality.
We only really have this year, because we've got the end of 2025. Yeah,
2025.
And we only have this year really to reference it off. And if we don't all watch ourselves this year, because we have to go December 2025, so we won't even have the information processed in 25 to go. Yeah. So we have to all try to play our part. 2024
is going to be the big one.
The big one, yeah. And if we can all reduce. If you had told me 5 years ago that you wouldn't be we're farming the same amount of ground but better with less chemical in, because we're making use of it. And that's the other frustrating thing. I can't export slurry because I need my slurry to make the most of it, to build my P's and K's on the land. But if I have to keep my cows what I need to keep to make repayments or whatever, I have to export my slurry, and then the slurry doubled overnight with your amount of ground that you need for exporting. So it's just, there's an awful lot of stuff.
Yeah, and it's going to be farm specific, but I suppose in reality there's a lot of challenges. The way that we farm is going to change for sure. That's the only thing for certain over the next few years. But an awful lot of very good examples of what farmers can do, and there's other people at different stages along the journey as well.
Yeah. And look, it's important to talk to your advisor, or talk to even over a few pints or that some evening, just talk about it, and pick some lad's brain, or pick up the phone and talk to someone and just say to them, well, what should we be doing? Or you were at this stage a few years ago, that's what I did with lads the whole way through. And when you can hit stuff off your agronomist then as well, or your fertiliser man, and just hit it all. Like, try to get as much ideas as possible, because you'll never have too much information. That's what I think, anyway.
It's all about shared experience, like, you know. And
Exactly.
in the end of the day, like, you have as a farmer, like, you have a lot going on the farm. Like, you can't be an expert in everything. So there's always someone else there that you can kind of lean on that might have a slightly better idea about, you know, whether it's housing or whether it's fertiliser or grass or clover, like, you know. So it's great actually getting involved in those discussion groups and having those chats with lads, like.
Yeah.
And just on that topic of gathering information, I'm probably going to step off topic majorly here now, but I'm just wondering what's going to happen Saturday. You being a inside track in the sports science world and into the rugby world as well.
Well, I'll be honest with you, by the time this is probably aired, we'll all know what will happen by Saturday.
This is going out tomorrow. Oh no, this is live, sorry. This is Friday.
John, you haven't been early for breakfast one yet. So, look, they'll be up again, definitely. But it's great to be going in again, the All Blacks, as favourites. I was actually chatting to 2 Kiwi lads this morning, and it's not going down well over there, like how they're underdogs again, Ireland. And are they the snakes and they're going to get us in the long grass? I hope to God we're not. I know that if I had the likes of Andrew Porter, Furlong, Pierre O'Mahony and all them coming down at me, I wouldn't like to be a snake in that grass, because they will trample all over you. So, and by the way, John, I heard you've got a big fertiliser contract into O'Mahony now for the new year, keeping that lawn going.
Yeah.
So are you going back to Munster now, or are you going to stay in Leinster? You're good on if you're coming or going, really, so you don't.
We were just saying that you were a Munster fan before you were a Leinster fan, and we might get your buddy and new entrant. You were starting a special grass course for a certain Tolo Tank we hear.
Yeah, Shawnee. I may get him out with his Hereford Primes and try to get him right on the steady narrow with the grass. But
he's doing 40 walks. He'll be putting you under pressure.
Yeah, he's doing his 40 walks. Yeah. He has a whole pencil in. He's going to upload it to Pasture Bay soon enough. He told me. So.
But listen. Hopefully we'll do it in the rugby, and we'll be able to continue on spoofing about it on this iPod for a while.
Exactly, and
they're in lost territory, so yeah, with the oval ball and small ball and all that.
You said it to me one day at a grass in was it a walk or something
down in Wexford in
Tim,
yeah I said it
said it to be abused me after. It said, stop talking about hurling. Bit of rugby now do no harm. So I'm not an expert in that either, am I?
No, surely not.
Well, we'll enjoy the weekend. I heard you're catching a flight to Paris now as we speak, yourself and Chloe, aren't you?
Yeah, that's it. Yeah, you're paying for the tickets, are you?
Oh, it's complimentary to the Sod Pod,
the massive budget that it has,
I know, in fairness now, best luck to Leinster on the weekend there. Oh, sorry, Ireland.
Did I hear a good stat the other day there that the All Blacks were only underdogs in 4 games over the last I don't know how many years, and all of them were away against South Africa before this weekend, like, you know. So heard a good stat this morning. Ireland are equal New Zealand and South Africa's 17 unbeaten run this weekend, and every time they come up 17th, Ireland beat South Africa and beat New Zealand. So let's hope that we keep the foot down and get the 18th win.
Jeepers, it'll be unbelievable crack now, to be fair, like, to have a semi-final to look forward to, but sure, we'll know more soon. Well, thanks a million.
Thanks very much. Thank you.
Fair play to you, and best of luck for the rest of the cabin season. Yeah,
we're nearly there. We're 2/3 of the way there in the autumn cabin, so it's grand. Roll on the spring then. Back to the grass.
Exactly.
So, thanks very much for having me.
Thanks.
Cheers, lads.
And that's a wrap. Special thanks to Kyle Hanbidge from Wicklow. They are greatly appreciated, and brilliant to hear his story. Huge thanks as well to John O'Loughlin, Edward Healy and William Keane. Mind yourselves out there. Farm smart, farm safe. Hey, thanks for listening to the Sod Pod. We hope you enjoyed it. To find out more, head over to www.grasslandagro.ie or check out our social channels: Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, LinkedIn and YouTube. That's all for this episode. See you next time.